Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see by the title, today I'm just gonna be giving y'all a story time. It's probably not gonna be that long because it's not really much to say about these stories, but I'm gonna tell them anyways. But I first want to start off by saying happy Pride Month to everybody on the spectrum. If you're out or not, we love you. Okay, let's get into the video. First, I'm gonna start off with obviously my first relationship with a girl, and then the second and last story time will be my last relationship with a girl. So first, I'm not gonna say no names, obviously. Just a disclaimer, I'm not gonna say anybody's names. So yeah, my first girlfriend was in 7th grade. It was like before I even came out. It was so awkward. I had just came out to like my friends and stuff, and there was this girl in my class. We're gonna call her Remote. So me and Remote were friends. We were cool before we started dating, and I basically just had came out to my friends, and we was basically just experimenting, if I'm being so for real. Like, it was like, oh, might as well, you know, might as well. So that was my first girlfriend. It was cool at first. We really got together like towards the end of the school year. I was like super nervous. I didn't want nobody to judge me or nothing, so we weren't like public, I guess. Like, we weren't not public, but we weren't public. Like, we wasn't like hold hands in public type of thing. Like, people knew we was together if they knew we was together type of thing. Started dating at the end of the school year, and we went into the summer. I think I had just got a phone, so like, yeah. And then she ghosted me all summer.
I said, damn, bitch.
We came back to school. She was like, oh, sorry, I lost my phone in the woods. I knew that was a lie.
It was all a lie. Guys, it was all a lie. She lied.
So I just stopped talking to her. We didn't technically break up, but I just stopped talking to her because I was like, lying to me is crazy work, but okay.
I promise you, when I catch you, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to punch you in your mouth, your throat, and your solar plex. Then I'm going to throw you on the ground and commence to stomping your face into the cement.
So yeah, she ended up changing schools. Like, she moved out of school. I don't know if she moved out of the state, but she moved out of school, and then we didn't talk no more. We're cool now, like today we're fine, but yeah, I just thought it was really crazy that she lied to me, because you literally could have just ended it, but it's fine. We didn't really talk in the relationship anyways, so it wasn't, I wouldn't technically call it a relationship, but it technically was my first girlfriend. I found out I had a girlfriend, so then it like got around. Then my family kept asking me if I like girls. I was like, oh no, what are you talking about?
Gay? Girl, don't play. If I was gay, I'd be like, I'm gay, woo! And I hang with the gays, but I ain't gay.
And it even got to the point where I had to tell like one of my best friends at the time, like, don't tell nobody, and if they ask, tell them no, okay? But I'm gonna add in the story time of how I came out, because child, last girlfriend. So we met on Instagram. We never actually met in person because I live in Arkansas and she lived in North Carolina. I blocked her on Instagram. It wasn't like a bad breakup or nothing. It was just like I didn't want to see her anymore, because it was kind of like the same thing the way it ended. But anyways, we met on Instagram, and then I think she like liked my story or something. She liked a picture of mine, and then like we started talking, and yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Like, we was together for a little minute, probably like almost a year. I don't think it hit a year, but it was like close to a year. My first girlfriend, we dated for probably like 2-3 months. You know, it wasn't nothing for real. So we was cool, we was chilling, and then we just stopped talking one day. Like it just got like progressively worse. We just stopped talking, and one day I was like, oh hey, what's up, like, and then it was like, yeah, I don't think we need to be in a relationship no more because we're not even talking to each other. So that wouldn't make no sense. But I blocked her just because I didn't, this doesn't sound really bad, I just didn't want to see her though. Like, it wasn't no beef, it wasn't no bad blood, and it wasn't even like, oh, I didn't really want to break up, but like, I don't know, I just didn't want to see her. Like, I don't see the point in still following her if we're not even gonna talk, you know? So yeah, those are the quick short little story times of my relationships with women. Now let's get into the story of how I came out. So basically, it was, I don't even know what came over me, but I was like, today is the day, let's come out to my parents. I think this was 8th grade. I can't remember if this was before or after I had cut my hair. Like, I was like dang near bald, literally. I probably had like 1 inch of hair on my head. Like, I'm not even over exaggerating, like, please. I just walked in my mama's room. I think she was getting ready, like she was doing her hair or something, and I sat on the bed and I was like, mama, I want to talk to you about something. And she was like, okay. So my nosy little sister always got to try to get in the conversation, so I had to, my mama told me to go close the door, whatever, cool. I closed the door, locked the door. I was so super nervous, y'all. Like, I just sat on the bed and I was like, so how you been, what's going on? Okay, y'all, I had ran out of stories, so I'm just speed this little story time up. But basically, I was like, yeah, I had something to tell you. And then she was like, what is it? And like, it was so super serious. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get in trouble. So I was like, I'm just gonna text it to you, right? And she was like, no, tell me out loud. And I was so nervous. But the story is, I was like, I like girls and shit. Y'all, guess what this lady told me? I know. You know? And you just made me go through all that for what? Yeah, she was like, I know, and I love you. Like, she was super accepting of it. I was like, period. Cool, that's over. Let's tell my dad. Go back to my room. My dad was working, I think, or like gone somewhere. So I was like, let's call him up, babes. And I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, I was, y'all, oh my gosh, because my parents are so overly Christian, so I was like, they're gonna hate me. And my dad, I was like, hey, how you doing? Da, da, da. I was like, it's storming outside, y'all, so yeah. But I was like, so I have something to tell you. And he was like, what's up? And I was like, I'm nervous, so I'm gonna have you help me with this. And he was like, okay. I was like, okay. So we're just gonna go back and forth with saying the words. So I'm gonna start. I was like, so and he was like. And I was like, actually, let's switch this around. You can start out first. Because I didn't want to say I like girls. Like, I didn't want to say it, like. So he was like, no, just tell me. I already know. And I was like, well, if you already know, then why do I have to tell you? And he was like, no, I want you to tell me. I was like, oh, okay. Eventually, I ended up telling him. He was like, it's okay, I love you. Basically the same thing my mama said. And it was like a weight lifted off my chest. But I was like, I will never tell my grandparents. But if they watch this video, then I don't know. But yeah. And also I told my auntie before she unfortunately passed away. I did end up telling her, and she was super supportive. It was like nothing for real. Like, I wasn't even nervous to tell her for real. I feel like I had got the hard part out the way. So yeah. So yeah, that's the story times on my first girlfriend, my last girlfriend, and my coming out stories. I know this was super short, but it's fine. I love you guys. Happy Pride, and yeah, bye.